All right, everybody, welcome to. We have a great show for you today. The Saints lose to the Ravens. Who cares? Michael Thomas, he's ahead of schedule. Marquez Callaway and Little Jordan look great. Saints, they might have solutions at linebacker and corner. Praise baby Jesus. My adopted son had a pick. Thomas, stop crying because your UDFA son got released, and hit the intro.
This is Sean Payton, head coach of the New Orleans Saints. What's with this Saints Happy podcast? This has to be the worst Saints podcast in the world. Ralph can't say anyone's name right. Andrew doesn't know football. Everyone has a hard time listening to Dave. And is Kevin even there tonight? The audio with this podcast, my God, the audio, it's painful.
All right, everybody, welcome to another edition of Saints Happy Hour podcast. The cold open was a disaster as usual, but remember, we're on Twitch. Pound the donate button if you're watching live. If you aren't, follow us on Twitch. And remember to subscribe to Saints Happy Hour wherever you get your podcast and become an annual patron at Patreon.com/saintshappyhour.com to get the Saints 2021 season survival mug. They came in today. We got 4 of them left. Sign up, you get it for free. It's amazing. And also, first person that donates at least $5 gets a VIP badge. Thomas tells me that's amazing. I don't know what that is. Donate to us on Twitch. And Twitch, we got the clips. You make a funny clip. If you make a funny clip, we'll play the best one. And if somebody makes one that we really like, we'll give you a prize. And by the way, I'm giving away 2 tickets to Saints Jags tonight on this show to an annual patron. So become an annual patron right now and you could win. Do it before the end of the show if you're watching on Twitch and you're not an annual patron. The Saints, they had news today. A lot of news. Another kicker, Andrew, his groin exploded. They cut Prince Amaka They cut Thomas's UDFA.
I love how now Ralph doesn't even pretend to try to say it right. Now he's full in on, horrific pronunciation.
They cut Thomas's UDFA son. Who else did they cut? I forget.
I'm looking at this tweet about how they released Prince Amukamara. They still have to throw in the fact that he was a former first-round pick in there. Like, they just cannot, whenever they talk about him, that's like part of his name at this point, is that he was
like it's like being Miss America, Dave. You're always right, Miss America, right? And Pete, so and we didn't get to it last week. Patrick Robinson, he retired 10 years ago. There's no real, I wouldn't say the moves. Here's the thing about kicker, Andrew. You made a point on Twitter that don't get me a freaking veteran, a rookie kicker that they need to work out the kinks. Get me a veteran kicker in here who can bang in a 40-yard field goal. Don't mess around with a rookie because Lutz is coming back. You need a guy who you can count on as best you can from the jump.
Well, is it Mayer? Is it Brett Mayer, or does he go by Maher?
It's Bill Maher.
Maher, yeah.
Bill Maher.
So I was surprised that they went with him in the sense that he's kind of been an inconsistent guy with a huge leg. And the profile of the guy the Saints have always gone after when someone gets hurt, it's been Hartley. When Hartley got hurt, it was always John Carney. It was John Casey. The profile was always this old kicker that doesn't have a leg anymore, but is dead on accurate inside of 40. And now if you go above 45, it's a roll of the dice. He might not even make it to the crossbar, right? If it's above 45, but inside 40, automatic. And I'm kind of surprised knowing that Will Lutz is coming back, knowing that this is a part-time, a short time job with a finite end to it, where you're not going to be a long-term kicker. Why would the Saints want to invest in some, I don't know, a young kicker would be weird because the Will Lutz thing, there were some growing pains, remember that first year? And there was an investment period in getting him up to speed until they felt like his mechanics and his consistency was there. And obviously then he was very solid for the Saints, but I just wonder if there's not some semi. What's John Carney up to? Seriously, I know he can still kick.
He's got to be
Dave, if
available.
they-
He's got to be better
if-
than half the people that are currently available in the NFL.
If they start 2-5 because their kicker misses like 2 35-yard kicks or an extra point,
Bite your tongue.
God forbid, I'll be so mad. But the game they played Saturday night, they lost,
Mhm.
but
They did.
I had Thomas make us a montage of all the turnovers. And if you're watching on Twitch, it's amazing. Thomas, play the turnover montage. But we can ignore it. But I want to enjoy it because when you see all these turnovers back to back to back, it is quite horrifying, Dave, even for a preseason game.
Yeah, well, I can't wait to see what video Thomas actually plays because I know it's not going to be the actual clip.
Place your bets, gents.
That you're setting up here. I don't,
Place your bets.
Andrew, I don't know if you didn't join us on Friday night when we did the preview. I don't know if you went back and listened to it, but it was a disaster. Okay, this made the Hindenburg look like
I missed it.
a ride on a carousel. It was like Ralph had 5 clips, and every time he set one up, Thomas had a different clip queued up. There was like no communication. It was. I listened back to it. I was like just trying to make sense of it all, but in the moment during the podcast, I felt like I was like high and like everything was cloudy and hazy, and I had no idea what the hell was going on. We're talking about one topic, and then they play a different clip, so then we just start talking about that topic. But then Thomas plays the original clip that was supposed to get played, so we go back to talking about that topic again. Oh my God, it was a fucking Abbott and Costello routine on a
It was
podcast.
clip roulette. It
Jesus
was
Christ.
clip
Oh
roulette.
my God. Our poor fucking listeners.
Dave, before I play it, I have something for you.
Why is that quality so terrible? It does not sound like that on my phone.
Oh,
Burn.
yeah,
All right.
that's what you get, Dave.
Well, let's go.
You get an extra sausage this week, Thomas.
Yeah,
Play
there
the
you go.
montage, Thomas. I'm dying to see this. I mean, you got every quarterback that played, every running back that played, fumbled or threw an interception. This look at that. That's just horrible. Andrew, as you watch these turnovers back, particularly the throws, do you think worse of them? Like he's throwing up. Look at little Jordan, Dave. Your son's got to make that catch. I'm sorry. Like
I don't know. Nick Underhill thought that was a pretty good pass. Wait, are the fart jokes in the Benny Hill song, or did Thomas add that on top, layer that on top of the
Damn,
Thomas-
someone noticed.
Yeah, that's
Holy
impressive layering.
that is. I mean, so listen, the turnovers were bad, and Sean Payton's going to work on it, Andrew. But here's the thing that I want to start with that makes me so optimistic is the receivers look great, and almost as important as the receivers looking great, which we'll get to in a second. Thomas,
You thought the
cue up
Saints
Sean.
receivers looked great.
Yeah, Callaway looked great. Little Jordan, we'll get to them in both in a second. But the most important thing, the thing that got me the most excited.
You thought Little
about-
Jordan looked great.
No, I thought I was excited because Sean Payton said Michael
became
Thomas was
personal
ahead
with
of
me.
schedule. You know,
I thought
Sean
Callaway
Payton,
looked great. I'll agree with that.
Yeah.
I thought
but
one
Sean
guy looked
Payton,
great.
Sean Payton said Michael Thomas was ahead of schedule. That excited me. Thomas, play the
Yeah.
clip.
Part of the team, and look, it was great seeing him. He's doing well. He's ahead of schedule, but outside of that, he's excited to be around these guys, and we're excited to have him around these guys. It's just right down the road. So, but it wasn't this big kumbaya moment or anything like that.
It felt like it.
But is it the first time he's been around the team in a while?
Intentionally, he was with us at the start, and then he went to Philly as part of the rehab plan.
So, but you guys did have a talk, and I guess you didn't.
All of that,
say kumbaya
listen,
or
all of that is between he and I.
It felt like a kumbaya moment, Dave. It felt like they hugged it out. They worked it out. He was there.
Kumbaya, my lord. Kumbaya. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this whole Mike Thomas situation. I mean, obviously for selfish reasons, yes. Let's get him back. Let's get him on the field. Let's go win some football games.
Of course.
Yeah, right. But
Yes. Amen.
but are we just going to ignore all of his pettiness, all of the petty things that he's
Yes,
done?
we are.
How many yards? How many touchdowns? That's all I care about.
Recently and even prior, it rubs me the wrong way, and it's bound to happen again. And one of these times, it might be the straw that breaks the camel's back. But if he's shown to be an immature, petty person, and at some point, it's going to come back to bite him in the ass.
I totally agree with you. Is there any chance that it can happen like 3,000-yard seasons and multiple Pro Bowls later? Can it wait that long?
I mean, it may.
I know it's. I agree with you. I know it's coming. Can it just wait until the Super Bowl title?
I mean,
Is that too much to ask?
You know, he'll return to the field. He'll start playing again, and then there will be something again this season. He'll get in a fight with a teammate, or he'll have a problem with, or he'll. Or this offseason he'll hold out for another contract, like he's not getting paid enough. It's just something. It's just gonna constantly be crap like this that we're gonna deal with because we have a diva receiver. You can't ship him out. And look, they traded Brandon Cooks, remember? And you know who they had on the team when they did that? And this is why they felt great about it. They had Michael Thomas.
Well, and also,
I just
and
feel
Willie
like
Snead.
Look at the
right.
receiving core right now. I completely disagree with Ralph. I think receiver is as concerning as maybe any position group on the team right now, especially with Michael Thomas out. So Callaway looked good, but Callaway by no means is the number one receiver on an NFL team.
Juwan Johnson looked good.
He's
Johnson, Little Jordan looked good. Thomas, get the
Did he though?
Get the Winston highlights queued up. I'm feeling
I
good
want to
about
hear.
it.
Wait. We are not going to have Andrew come on this sacred podcast.
Yeah, here we go.
Slander the good name of my firstborn, the one who made me an undrafted free agent father.
It became personal with me.
So I want to hear.
He can't be your firstborn if you adopted him.
All right, my first child. He was my first child. Semantics. But I want to hear your criticism of him. Obviously, he had the drop pass. I think it was the first play of the season, maybe the second.
And then the interception to kill the game. Or sorry, the deep ball interception.
And you think that's on him?
I do. Yeah, I mean, he could have played that ball better. But look, Little Jordan in that game made some catches. He made a couple good plays. He had a couple drops. Obviously, the interception. He was responsible, at least in part, for that. And I think that's the reality. That's a microcosm of the receiver room for the Saints. And Ty Montgomery, kind of same deal, right? Like miscommunication with Taysom Hill. Maybe he ran the wrong route. He also made a play in that game. And I just think that's what the Saints have right now is they have a bunch of 50-50 guys. That's what Little Jordan is. That's what Ty Montgomery is. Every time the ball comes their way, 50-50. Might make a good play, might break a tackle. You might get 27 yards and a first down. Might tip the ball up in the air. Horrible pick. Might run the wrong route. Like that's the Saints receivers group right now. A bunch of 50-50 guys. And look, Lil Jordan can make a play. I'm not banging on the guy. Like it's the best we got right now. So he should be playing. And there's a good chance that come week one, he's going to be thrown out and he's going to get a chance to make plays. But, when I look back at Lance Moore and Marcus Colston and Michael, those are not 50-50 receivers. Those are guys that get open every time and make plays for you.
Well, here's the thing. If we look at Jameis Winston, look at that catch, Andrew. He's amazing.
Ty Montgomery.
Here's the thing. I was worried that it was going to be an unmitigated disaster at receiver against Baltimore. So when I see guys getting open, catching balls, look at Juwan Johnson again.
Yep.
This is Winston in the 2-minute drill. Look at this. He's throwing to Hogan. I mean,
okay, where's the freaking Little Jordan highlights, Thomas?
This is it right here. Right here. Oh no,
there is none.
There's Tony Jones. Here comes the Little Jordan touchdown. But I mean, this is like
Boom.
bad
Became
to
personal.
average NFL receivers. I thought, Andrew, it was a potential that it was going to be a disaster Saturday, and it wasn't a disaster, so I was
Yeah,
pleasantly
no,
surprised.
these guys are capable. I mean, little Jordan Humphrey, we've seen him make a play in an NFL game before.
He was all hands on that when he stuck his hands out. He held on to it. He kept the ball away from his body, away from the defender.
I don't think he's incapable. I just think he's a 50-50 guy.
All right,
You know?
I don't think that's unfair.
And look, I just think it's tough to evaluate. Well, first of all, no Armstead, no Ramczyk, no Kamara, so no Michael Thomas. So and then he's not going to have Michael Thomas for a while. But just it's tough to evaluate these guys. It's kind of unfair that Taysom and Jameis are trying to win this job, and they don't even have the full array, the full arsenal of their offense, and they're stuck with James Hurst as their left tackle. You're trying to throw a dime to Ty Montgomery, who's running the wrong route. That's just it's tough to get evaluated with that.
Well, here's my one thing that I'm going to say that I want to be excited about the Saints because it's August, Andrew. Mina Kimes, who said the Saints had the worst receiving core in the NFL without Michael Thomas, she said today Marquez Callaway might make me look bad because he roasted Peters twice, and he looked great. We'll get to something. Thomas is
Mina
gonna.
Kimes. I'm gonna go to the store and pick out a nice big piece of crow. I'm just gonna bring it home. I'm not gonna start cooking it yet. I'm not gonna start cooking it. I'm gonna throw it in the freezer actually. Keep it cold, and but I'm just gonna have it ready in case Mina Kimes needs to have a little bit of crow.
Yeah, I feel like Callaway. I know Baltimore was playing a lot of backups on defense, but Marcus Peters ain't no backup, and he got wide open twice, Andrew. Where he if Taysom Hill couldn't help but hit him because he was so wide open. I mean, people.
I like that we have a little film.
Look how open he is.
I know. Is this legal? Are we about to get shut down by the NFL?
Probably.
No.
I
Fair
mean,
use. Fair use,
we're not
guys.
getting. No, we're not getting shut down, or no, this is not legal.
Both.
Yes.
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 Well, this
Yes.
is coming. This is coming from Thomas's computer in Poland, so is it even?
Yeah, look, I'm just
it
here.
enforceable
I'm
in
just here
Poland?
doing a show. I didn't know that he was going to be putting these NFL clips up, so I plead the fifth.
You didn't come to the production meeting,
No, I didn't.
No.
I skipped that. But no, these are great clips, by the way, Thomas. Thanks for doing it. But
We have many more.
great,
Yeah.
can't wait. No, look, I thought the opening drive was phenomenal, and it really was the Callaway show. And even Taysom, I actually think Taysom is a good quarterback when his first read is there. When he makes that first read, if it's there, the ball's out. It's usually accurate. It's when he has to start processing and he thinks, should I eject the pocket? Should I not? Should I run? I think that's where things kind of go awry for him. But when that first read is there, I think Taysom's pretty solid.
Well,
And-
to his credit and to your point, I do think there was one play where Taysom dropped back. He felt pressure. He started running, and I think last year Taysom just he gives up the reads and he just keeps running. But on Saturday, he pulled it back and went back to his reads and found an open man instead of just giving up on the play. So I thought, it was just one play, but that kind of stuck out in my mind. I was happy to see that.
Where are you guys right now? I'm just curious at quarterback. Let's take a quick poll.
Oh, good. I'm glad you asked me because I actually have, it's not a hot take, but first of all, just Saturday alone, I thought Jameis looked like the better quarterback.
I agree.
All that being said, honestly, I don't know why I never really, or maybe I have said this, but to me, it makes zero sense to have Taysom be your starting quarterback. I mean, I think at the end of this preseason, at the very best for Taysom Hill, it'll be a 50-50 toss-up. I think this is Jameis's battle to lose. I think in the end, Jameis will wind up winning the battle and looking like the better quarterback anyway. But even if it was a 50-50 coin flip between the two of them, why would you start Taysom and leave Jameis on the bench the entire game and take away the ability of using Taysom like you've always been using him as a pass catcher, as a sub quarterback, as a running back, as a blocker, a tight end, whatever. Having Jameis Winston as your starting quarterback, it's almost like you get an extra offensive player out of it because you get Taysom that you can use as a weapon. Of course, that's risky because if Taysom gets injured, then the next man up is, who knows, Ian Book, I guess. But to me, it just seems like a no-brainer to not start Jameis Winston and also keep Taysom in as a weapon.
Okay.
I think you're hurting yourself immensely.
So 2 comments.
you don't do that.
I fully agree with you, Dave. In fact, my first comment is you must be reading what Jim Gleason is typing in the chat. He must be feeding you all this information because that was way too eloquent. It was way too football smart for it to be just purely coming from you, Dave.
I'm looking at it now.
No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, Jim Gleason agrees with you big time here in the chat. But no, I agree with you too. My second comment is, and this is a question. Do you guys think Sean Payton agrees with you? Because that's really, at the end of the day, all that matters.
Yeah.
I can't help but shake in my bones that that Sean Payton secretly wants Sean Payton. Jesus. That Sean Payton secretly wants Taysom Hill to win the job. Secretly.
That is full Ralph. That is.
Yeah. Sorry, my train of thought there was. But look, I really think Sean wants Taysom to be the guy. Like, I think ultimately he probably picks Jameis because by the end of preseason and camp, like, the case will be closed. It'll be like, this is the only guy that we can win games with consistently. But I think in his heart of hearts, he's rooting for Taysom.
I don't know. Well, I mean, maybe he's rooting for him, but Sean is a football guy, and he's an offensive football guy at that. And I think what Taysom gives him and the flexibility that Taysom allows him as far as running his offense.
And it's so different from Drew, right?
Yeah. Yes. And that's the other thing, right? I think, Sean's used to having a more of a in the pocket passing quarterback.
Taysom's pocket awareness is kind of garbage. Like he really has trouble. Like,
but like let's say Jameis throws for 5,500 yards this year. Sean Payton's gonna be like,
6-11 if that happens.
Well, he's gonna be like, been there, done that. I've already coached a quarterback to NFL records. But
I want to run the single wing.
But a QB that runs for 1,000 yards, win a Super Bowl with a QB that runs for 1,000 yards. Has anyone ever done that before? I don't know. I just wonder if Sean Payton's maybe a little intoxicated by the fume. Maybe he was. Look, maybe West Hall. Maybe he was standing next to him in the shower, and maybe he saw the same thing he did.
Thing is,
West Hall.
If that's the case, Taysom's got to be better than he was against Baltimore. He's got to be better than he was against Baltimore for sure.
What was that?
I don't know what
my watch just started talking. Sorry.
My watch.
My watch.
Here's something that I did not see coming at all, Dave. I did not have on my bingo card at all. And Thomas, cue up the clip. I did not have on my bingo card Marquez Callaway being in street clothes at the end of the game and him being a key cog in the Saints offense. And I'm like, I've seen enough of him. He doesn't need to play anymore. But Sean Payton talked about his growth as a receiver after the game. Thomas, play that clip.
Yeah, like I said, we saw some of that a year ago, and I don't know that anyone was truly paying that much attention, but if you went back and looked at some of those games, we began to see that growth and confidence from him last year, and I think that's paid off for him entering to the training camp now, and his confidence level. So that was encouraging.
What do we have to do to get these press conferences away from the weight room?
I know, seriously.
My God, man. Every single interview, it's like the plate's going.
I think, and you know what? It's really bad if we here at Saints Happy Hour podcast think
Or banging
you
on.
have audio issues and your production sucks. Yeah, you have a real problem.
Yes.
That's
serious issues.
I mean, that's like me making fun of you because your hands aren't good. You know, I mean, it's
That's right.
bad.
It's like Ralph making fun of somebody who's more crippled.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's bad. It might be true, but it's bad. But here's the thing, like,
I like Marquez Callaway and Street Clothes. That I love that though. It's like, oh, we got to shut him down. We're
Yeah,
gonna
that's
need
right.
him.
Yeah.
We can't risk this.
I've seen enough.
Yeah, that's right.
Andrew? What's his ceiling? You think for 2021?
Man, I just remember last year going into a game against Carolina, and I think Thomas was out with the ankle.
That's right.
I was,
Sanders
yeah.
had the Rona.
Sanders had COVID,
That's right.
and I want to say Deontay had the stinger.
That's right.
How the
Eh.
fuck do you remember this?
I don't know, but the Saints were down to Callaway, Juwan Johnson, and I want to say their number 3 receiver in that game was Tommy Lee Lewis. I could be wrong about that,
It might be.
but it was basically Callaway, Johnson, and a bag of rocks. And Callaway had 7 catches for 82 yards and a touchdown in that game,
That's
or
right.
it was 8 catches for 90 something yards. It was unbelievable. As an undrafted rookie from Tennessee, I just remember, I'll never forget that game because I just remember the Saints trotted out there a bunch of hobos at receiver. And Callaway was like, his time to shine. He grabbed the bull by the horns and he was like, you know what? This is my shot and the world's watching and I'm going to show everyone that I'm an NFL receiver. And you got to be damn good and have serious moxie as a rookie to go in there undrafted and pull that off. And the only guy I can think of that stepped in and did something like that is Marcus Colston. And back then he was wearing number 12 and he had, he looked like Colston. And so I don't know. He hasn't done that much since because then Michael Thomas came back and Sanders came back and then he got hurt. So I don't think we've gotten the full Callaway experience yet, but if he did his part to work hard this offseason, so going back to your question, what's his ceiling? I think Callaway can be a 1,000-yard receiver. Wow. I really do.
Andrew, you started this whole thing by rattling off 3 different receivers and each of their injuries that they had. What time does Wapner come on?
He was wrong, though. Deontay Harris and
good. Well, that makes me feel better.
Traquan Smith both played in that game. They both caught 4 passes.
Okay, good.
But still, he can barely run.
And you looked that up.
Deontay did have a stinger.
I looked that up.
Okay.
Yeah.
At some point,
he got in the game. Andrew can remember things about the Saints. He can barely remember both of his kids' names, though. For people that are
wait, I have 2
that you know of.
That's the worst joke I've ever heard.
So, Dave, as we talk about this game, the other thing that was really exciting was we may have the Saints. We may have to have you print the Baun on the Bayou shirts. You've got them. You can make some money off them now because the Saints linebackers.
My graphic designer has some free time now. So.
Zach Baun was awesome. My God,
he was awesome.
Okay, so I've got to. Speaking of eating crow earlier, I have to eat some crow because Ralph was telling me, how many Zach Baun on the Bayou shirts I was going to have to make, and I said I was going to have to donate them to a country in Africa.
Uganda.
So
welcome to Uganda.
I mean,
welcome to Uganda.
Hand up. I did not think that Zach Baun could play as well as he did, and definitely the highlight of the night for sure was. I mean, he was everywhere. Yeah, let's roll that beautiful bean footage.
I mean,
Here we go.
Look at this. It's a bootleg, and usually a bootleg against the Saints is like a 40-yard gain.
If Anzalone is covering that running back, that's a touchdown.
I mean, Baun. I mean, he wrecked that shit. Okay, Baun did.
Yeah,
but
did.
here's the thing, Andrew. I want you to listen to this quote from Sean Payton. The sound. All the linebackers are looking good. I think I might be in some like parallel universe. Thomas, play the clip about Sean Payton talking about the linebackers. I heard this. I got lightheaded. I was so excited.
I thought they played with good energy. The group of them, did a nice job, and you saw it on tape. You felt it during the game, but when you watched it on tape, you saw it.
Anything in particular with Baun, who obviously switched positions last year, no training camp?
Yeah, look, these guys got some flexibility. It's hard to, when you go to the game with 5 or 6 linebackers. It's not like you're going to the game where your fourth best linebacker might enter the game and he has to play either or, as opposed to saying, well, because it's not Will, and so. We cross-train, and we'll cross-train this week, even heading into this game, and maybe flip a few guys.
Andrew, Werner might not play, and if you'd have told me that for Saturday morning, I'd be like, that's a disaster. Like, Werner might not play at all, and it could be okay.
Well,
like,
Quan Alexander's back, and he might
right.
be the starter. And man, I think you look at how Zach Baun played in that game, and you start to wonder, is Quan Alexander going to play? Because Baun made a case for, I'm in nickel, and you're a top 2 linebacker on this team playing next to Demario Davis. That's the case he made in that game. And, look, Caden Ellis played well also, and Andrew Dowell's been a star in camp. So linebackers feeling good. And you're right, like it's weird. Like we kind of penciled in Pete Werner as a starter this year, and now it's like, is he even going to play? Hopefully they'll need him at some point this year, but he's got to get back because linebacker feels very competitive and deep all of a sudden. I will say, so going back to just the Saints draft process, and I think what this game did for me, and this is why I'm excited. Look, the turnovers were comical. The penalties were out of control. And
if you mention last school, I'm going to fucking kill you.
They've got to figure out a way to fix that, and they will. Sean Payton's a good coach, and they'll address that stuff. They're not going to have 6 turnovers a game. That's not going to be something they continue to have. So if you were to ask me,
4.
Yeah, at most 4. But if you were to ask me what was maybe the most exciting part of that game, and I said this on the podcast, it was the young players that performed. And that kind of reinvigorated. So, like, Blake Gillikin, I know he wasn't a draft pick, but he was awesome at punter. Adebo played well. Juwan Johnson wasn't a draft pick, but he played well. Caldwell played well. And then, obviously, Zach Baun was great. And it reinvigorated my trust and belief. And Cesar Ruiz had a good game at guard, and he's looking good in camp. So, like, it kind of reinvigorated my belief in the Saints' ability to draft, because it had taken a little bit of a hit there where we weren't totally confident in, obviously 2017 was incredible, but the draft classes after 2017, we've just kind of been like, are they really that good? Like, are we maybe putting too many eggs in the Jeff Ireland basket based on how he's been doing that, based on how he did in that draft? And he really hasn't done that well since.
2019 was good. They had McCoy and CD Deuce,
But I just want to say, like,
point.
those guys are looking good, and so it's just like the acquisition of these guys, like scouting department, kudos to them, because like Juwan Johnson, moving him to tight end is looking smart right now.
Well, and the thing about Baun, and I said it at the time, I hate when a team drafts a dude and they're like, all those things you did in college that were awesome, you're not doing those anymore. And they did that with Baun. They're like, you're going to play a whole new position. And that in my mind, that rarely works out.
As we sit here today, they look a lot smarter than they did.
They look a lot
72 hours ago. Yeah.
Here's my question to you, Dave. Tony Jones, Kevin's UDFA son from last year, he looked amazing, and your boyfriend, Ladavius, was fumbling. Are you, between bites of meat, are you worried that your boyfriend could be on the chopping/trade block?
If you were just looking at Saturday in a vacuum, yeah, absolutely. I think like I think he looked like not the best running back out there, but
he missed the blitz pickup also.
It's one. Okay, let's go easy. All right, let's not pile on. But
In fairness, Tony Jones also fumbled.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, he coughed it up.
Every running back
Yeah.
that had a carry on Saturday fumbled.
He coughed it up big time. I mean, like literally coughed it up, like just like went flying out of the pile there.
Yeah, not to be Jim Moore here, but it's got to be an NFL
It's
record.
horseshit ball carrying.
That
It's horseshit
every
ball carrying. I know that. Horseshit.
that every quarterback that threw the ball threw a pick, and every running back that carried the ball fumbled. That's got to be a first time
Jim
thing.
Mora would have lost his mind if he was the coach of the Saints and they did that. He would have
Yeah.
murdered a media member.
We'd have another sound clip.
We would have another soundbite.
But why would they cut or trade? Why would they cut or trade Murray, Ralph? Like they need 3 running backs anyway.
No, but to answer the question,
This
though,
is bad for Devontae
Cap
Freeman.
space.
yeah, Devontae Freeman's definitely done.
Devontae Freeman looked washed.
Murray is a veteran. Murray has proven over the entirety of last season what he's capable of. It's Ralph and I were talking about last time because we had a sound clip of Payton talking about what he doesn't want to see. He doesn't want to see sloppy game and penalties and missed tackles and
He
turnovers.
thought all of it. They jumped
I
offside 4 times.
And
We
I
didn't even
said,
get to that.
you can pull up the sound clip. I said, that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. This is the first game of the preseason. That is exactly what you're going to get. You are going to get penalties and sloppy play and missed tackles and turnovers. This is the first time that these guys are playing against another team. And they're rusty. I mean, look at Tony Jones. Did you see Tony Jones? He had the 2 long runs and he had to go off to the sideline and take a knee because he was so winded. I mean, these guys, it's the first game of the season. They're not in mid-season form yet. And then there's a lot of communication issues, and that leads to problems. I thought it was comical that
Look at
that
Tony.
Sean Payton
Look at
thought
the
it was gonna
burst,
sink in.
though. One
I
cut
know,
and
I
go.
know.
No, I mean he's the next in line of undrafted free agent running backs that Sean
I was
Payton
gonna
thinks
ask
are fine.
if we could
I mean-
retroactively give Kevin the win for the UDFA adopted son competition last year.
I don't mind sharing
on
it,
this
but you're not
performance.
taking it away from me.
Kevin would have won if he doesn't get hurt against Carolina. Off of what I saw Saturday, Kevin would have won that in a walk because Tony Jones would have had 150 yards against Carolina. Because Carolina, they didn't have any interest in tackling in that Week 17 game. I tell you.
So let's talk about Adebo for a second. The unvaccinated corner.
Unvaccinated.
By the way,
The unvaxxed attack.
This is totally off the subject, but I'm going to mention it real quick. Did you guys notice that the Falcons officially, as of today, are the first 100% vaccinated team in the NFL?
Yeah.
I did see that.
All of a sudden, I don't know that I want it anymore. I'm like, can we keep one guy unvaccinated?
Yeah.
We're
all know how
anti-vax now.
Sorry.
We're anti-vax now.
We're anti-vax.
Hold out, Adebo.
We all know
What?
what happens when the Falcons have a lead in something, so we'll see how it ends up.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
We won't admit we are vaxxed.
But the unvaxxed corner, is he starting week 1? That's in play
100%
right now.
starting. I mean, he's 100. If he's not, all he's got to do is be a little better because I don't think the Saints look at Ken Crawley as a guy that's going to develop. Adebo is
it's
one.
almost like they're keeping him there on top of the depth chart to keep Adebo motivated.
Yeah.
It's like they don't really want him to start. It's just motivation for Adebo to feel like he earned it.
I was texting with Andrew today, Dave, and I was trying to think of a comparison for Adebo. And at first I thought, the guy that I think he's most like is the best case scenario for him is Tracy Porter.
I knew you were going to say it. No.
Tracy Porter 2008, not 2009. Tracy Porter in 2008, he was up and down before he broke his wrist. He got lit up by Brandon Marshall in Denver, but he also, I think, had 2 picks against the Vikings. So, Adebo showed me, he was there. Yeah, he was handsy, and he made some screw-ups. But, I saw enough that I'm start him. I don't play Crawley. Start Adebo. Let's take our lumps with him and he's unvaccinated. He's one more good game from me having to call. I'll have to call him something else. He doesn't get his full name said, but if he can have another good preseason game, he moves off of being unvaccinated, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I feel you on that. As soon as you started talking and you had somebody that you were going to compare him to, I knew you were going to say Tracy Porter. You know, the only difference is Adebo's played one single solid game. You know, Tracy Porter played a few games, hurt his wrist or whatever. But, you know, your point still stands there. You know, they were kind of like 50-50 to start. And then they wound up really developing and getting really good. And, you know, the good news is Adebo, I think, has the ability to, you know, be the next Tracy Porter, the next Marshawn Lattimore or whatever. Just another good quarterback draft pick. But
another guy they traded up for too, Andrew. If they work out, if it works out for him and Baun.
Look, this was one game, and we've been farting rainbows into each other's mouth for the last 45 minutes here.
That's what I want to do in August, though, Dave. I want to fart rainbows into Andrew's mouth in August.
If we were doing game predictions like we do the regular season, my prediction would be is that the next game, week 2, this team is going to look like hot, steaming garbage, and you're going to want to fire every player that we're talking about now into the sun, and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, the world is ending. I think it's going to be up and down. If I was a betting man, I don't think.
No, I'm telling you,
what I think is going to happen.
The Saints,
quarterback play was definitely concerning for me.
Well, here's the thing. Next week against Tampa, somebody on the Saints defense is going to hurt Tim Tebow in a glorious way. Like, they're going to embarrass him. Davenport.
Oh, is he really going to play?
Tim Tebow, yeah, he played this past week and missed a block.
I don't know if he's going to make it from the cut downs to 85 based on what he looked like in that game.
Nope.
It's true. So, Andrew,
that's crazy. Now I'm going to the game. I'm not going to sell my tickets now. I got to see Tebow in person.
The last thing I want to talk about in the actual game, Andrew, the defensive line, I know it was backups and they played Onyemata for 2.5 quarters, which was
Ralph
weird.
can't say anyone's name right.
But the defensive line looked really good, but they claimed some guy I've never heard of, R.J. McKinnish, off of waivers. Are they still...
Ralph can't say anyone's name right.
I deserve that. Are they still, you think, actively looking for defensive tackle more than corner, maybe?
I think they're open to anyone that becomes available. I think they're going to continue to kind of look at the waiver wire. Look, I think with kicker, they don't even have a kicker on the team right now. So they just waived the dude because he hurt his groin somehow in pregame. So, by the way, isn't that Lutz's injury? They have 2 kickers with groin injuries. What's going on with that?
He injured the groin in warm up and still kicked.
I tweeted that Saints kickers, their groins work like Ralph's arms, like Ralph's limbs. But
that is tough.
Yeah,
but
sorry,
fair.
that's
tough.
Tough. I apologize. That was below the belt. That was below the belt, literally. So what was I lost my train of thought. I started talking about kickers.
Groins exploding.
No, but before that.
Something about Ralph's
defensive
penis.
line that they're looking. They're open to anybody. They're open to anything. They're waiver wire cut, is what you're saying.
I just think the waiver wire is open for business at kicker, number 2 corner, defensive tackle, maybe even receiver. This could be a year, Ralph, where at final cutdowns, we see the 53-man roster and we think like, oh yeah, this is the Saints team. And then 4 or 5 dudes get cut. And you like a Chris Hogan, you think he's made it. And I don't know, a dude like my UDFA adopted son, Josiah Bronson, maybe you think he's made it. And then boom, they all get whacked and they bring in all these waiver claims.
Well, here's my question to you, Dave. It's a crisis at kicker. Do you think there's a chance that the Saints, I know they got Will Lutz off of Baltimore, but do you think there's a chance that they look around and they're like, listen, the best backup kicker is the Baltimore guy. I'm just saying hypothetically. They say he's the best guy to
Again.
get. And
Again,
they're like,
yeah.
and they're like,
He
we
looked good in
can't-
that game, by the way.
Dave, do you think if the Saints are like, we can't risk another team because we're low on the claim list? Because remember, the wire is still based off a 2020 season. The Saints went 12-4. They're very low. I think they're 27 on the claiming wire. So could the Saints be like, hey, Baltimore, or we got to give you a 7th round pick to make sure we get this kicker or another kicker that a team might cut because we can't risk another team that we think needs a kicker claiming him. Do you think we could see a trade for a kicker?
Yeah, I guess that's possible. Yeah, like a 7th rounder or a conditional pick or whatever, or a.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, I have no idea who the heck's out there, who's available, a kicker. I mean, if there's only one good option, maybe they would go that route, the trade route. But if there's 2 or 3 options, I'm sure decent options that are.
I don't know, man. I feel like there's
Half
only
of-
like 15 good kickers on earth, and the Saints are going to be hard pressed to find a dude that can bang it in from 40 yards. The kicker is suddenly after Saturday, Andrew. It's one of my main. It might be my second main worry besides just competent quarterback play. But I want to remind people. Donate to us on Twitch. If you're watching on Twitch, pound that donate button. And also, if you find us on YouTube, Thomas does a great job of putting the timestamp, so you don't have to watch the whole show. You can just go to the timestamp, click the best parts. It's amazing. Now, I want to talk about the UDFA Sun update.
Yes.
No.
Let's talk about this.
Thomas,
Yes.
We're
Thomas'
skipping this
son-
topic. We're skipping it.
I'm so
not.
glad you got to this.
Thomas is going to be. He's officially the Cleveland Browns. He's picking again. He's picking
right.
number 1 back-to-back
This is
years.
the big leagues, Thomas. All right,
Yeah.
don't come at us.
I want
with
to
that,
congratulate you, Thomas, on being eliminated already.
Stevie Scott got waived. Well, Thomas, you're good. You drafted Stevie Scott the 3rd. This is Stevie Scott.
You're good.
You're fine. Yeah, you're fine.
So I guess
This is all a part of the plan, guys. This is all a part of the plan. I tanked it. I knew the UDFA crop was shit, so I'm like, hey, let's tank it. So I get the first pick next year.
Well, don't give up yet, Thomas. I mean, what could happen is the Saints. He could backdoor his way into winning this championship. He gets added to the practice squad later in the year. Week 8, the Saints get decimated at running back. All of a sudden, he's playing. He goes for 100 yards.
Who knows what Mike Thomas is going to do this season? He could do something crazy, get kicked off the team.
The most important thing, Thomas, play the highlight of the most important thing, Thomas. Play the highlight of my son getting an interception.
running back. Yeah.
Play the highlight of my son getting an interception. That's what I want to see.
That's the important, right?
That's the important thing.
Yeah, Ralph's UDFA son did have a pick.
Look
Looks like Marcus Williams right there.
Good hit after. Wait, what's the deal with my guy? Because he wasn't on the depth chart. Is he on the team?
Who was your guy again?
That's a good question. Oh, well.
You don't know who your own son is?
Lawrence, well, he's new. He's brand new. I'm still getting to learn his names. And I'm very busy with Lil Jordan and Malcolm Roach at the moment, okay?
It became personal with me.
I have 2. I have first of all, I have the starting defensive tackle on this team, all right? That is a lot to handle. And on
Too
top
much
of
sex,
that,
too many kids.
And your other son has scored a touchdown.
Wow.
Yeah, and he's trying to work his way into like a number 2, number 3 wide receiver spot. No, I had Lawrence of Arabia.
Hey, Tomas, check the timestamp on this.
I'm sure
Lawrence,
1% of our listeners are going to get that reference.
Yeah, no, I don't have Lawrence of Arabia. I have Lawrence of Araby.
Lawrence Woods of Truman State University.
Yeah. So what's the deal? Is he on the team or what? Is he on the roster at the
He's
website?
he's on the roster on the website. Yeah.
As of
So why
right now.
why wasn't he on the depth chart? He didn't even get dressed. Did he? Was he even on the plane? Did he even make the trip?
I don't know. It's not looking good for you, Dave.
Not.
It's looking a little bit better for me than it is for Thomas.
I'll tell you who's looking real good. It's looking real good for the guy with one good arm. That's
Yes, that's the soundbite.
Oh, the sad trombone.
Yeah.
We need the sad trombone. We might need to mix that in for breaking news when the Saints have bad breaking news. Instead of playing the classic NBC breaking news theme, we can play the sad trombone. Before we get to the end of the show, which we got some fun videos to play, clip of the week, and fan questions, I want to remind people the mugs came in. If you're watching on Twitch, look at that. That mug, Dave got it made. It's like acrylic. It's tough. It's 2021 Saints Survival Mode. It'll fit 24 ounces of booze. Become an annual patron.
Before the show, I wanted to know
Dave was like, tap it, and I tap it with my crippled hand. Dave forgets.
I wanted to know. I wanted to know how thick the acrylic was, so I asked him to flick it, and I forgot. I forgot he couldn't because he's crippled.
Hey, Tomas, check the timestamp on this.
This is all kinds of messed up.
I think we got the clip of the week on this.
Yeah. Dave, pull yourself together.
Pull yourself together.
God, it was pretty funny.
So,
that was
speaking
funny.
of funny stuff, Juwan Johnson went around the Saints locker room and was asking people what Saints player would they absolutely 100% not allow their daughter to date. And one name.
I thought it was who they would.
Who they would let their daughter date.
Yeah.
No, who they wouldn't. Who they wouldn't.
Who they wouldn't.
No, I thought it was who they would.
Man. I'm gonna play and you're gonna see for yourself.
Like,
it wouldn't make sense. It wouldn't be that funny.
One of your teammates would you not let date your daughter? Probably Roach. I'm thinking about it. Malcolm Roach. All right, so which one of your teammates wouldn't you let date your daughter? Which one of your teammates would you not let date your daughter?
Definitely not Deontay Harris. Definitely. Oh my gosh.
Which one of your teammates would you not let date your daughter?
What you mean? I think all my teammates are phenomenal, God-fearing Christian men. And if they don't fall in category, then that's not a category.
Which one of your teammates would you not let date your daughter?
Chauncey.
Oh. Which one of your teammates would you not let date your daughter?
Your son.
Which one of your teammates would you not let date your daughter?
Malcolm Roach.
That's two Malcolm Roach.
Sister.
Ask them sister.
He ain't got no kids. Yeah.
Ask them sister. If you had one.
You gotta have sisters. Don't want to lie.
Even date my cousin.
That is really funny.
There were multiple people there were like 3 or 4 people that said CD. How come that wasn't in the clip?
Dave, you need to teach your
Roach,
UDA adopted son some manners. How
I'm a
to
little
treat women.
Chivalry, Dave.
Like father, like son. Like father, like son, man.
I know the apple is right next to the tree.
All right. This is a little concerning. What's up with like? I want to know the reason why they.
There's still a second vid, by the way, in the holster.
Oh, and
All right, well, let's watch it.
Fire it off.
20
How
teammates
many
when
more
you let date
Malcolm
your
Roaches?
daughter? Probably AK. Wow. Which one of your teammates when you let date your daughter?
Probably Chauncey. Chauncey can't date my daughter.
Which one of your teammates when you let date your daughter?
The ending is the best.
I got one, so I can't even say.
No, I'm saying if you did, but which one would you let date your daughter?
I'm lemon for anybody in the league. You heard me.
That's 4. Which one of your teammates when you let date your daughter?
Would I not let?
Yes.
Oh, God. Malcolm Roach.
What the hell? What the hell is going on?
Dave, you're a terrible father. You're a terrible father.
What is going on? What's wrong with Malcolm?
Somebody go to Dave's house and confiscate
straighten things up, Dave.
I gotta do some.
I mean, seriously.
I've got some phone calls to make.
You got some self-evaluation.
I'm seriously going to text. I'm going to text somebody and ask him.
By the way, someone on Discord thought the last guy was Taysom. Who was the last guy?
The last guy that was Troutman.
Oh. I wouldn't know what he looked like. I have no idea what Troutman looks like. Let me know when he makes a play, and I'll start.
Wait,
he's Taysom from now on.
Can you freeze frame that, or can you show me just that part of the video again, or no?
Yeah, just a second.
I'm pretty sure that was Troutman.
Well, I want to say this. We didn't talk about it, but because I thought for a second it was Gillikin. Like, punter is locked down. Like, Gillikin's the punter, right? He's trying to freeze frame it. But I feel like Dave not being a good father to his UDFAs.
That's Troutman.
Is about right.
This is crazy. I can't believe this. I'm embarrassed.
Did Callaway steal all of Troutman's hype train mojo?
Troutman catches one pass and we're all back to singing his praise. He needs to catch one pass, Ralph.
One. Just
I don't know.
One?
Isn't it weird? If you had told me, I'm feeling pretty good about the Saints. I just want to make that global statement. Like I was happy about the preseason game, and if you had told me,
yes, check this timestamp because, like I said, next week I think it's going to be doom and gloom.
I think if the quarterbacks look the same or worse, I will change my tune pretty quickly. But if you had told me before the game the Saints are going to have 6 turnovers, 10 penalties, and you're going to love what you see, I would have laughed in your face. But, they kind of crushed the Ravens. And I say that because when you lose 17-14 and you're -4 in the turnover battle, the Saints would have lost to anyone, right? 6 turnovers and 10 penalties. Like, you're not winning against
even the Falcons.
Anyone. Yeah, anyone ever.
Oh, maybe not.
You're not winning a game when you self-destruct like that. But
horseshit ball, Kieran. I know that. Horseshit.
If you lose by 3 points, that means you destroyed the opponent. And here's the thing: the turnovers, they weren't even like the Ravens making plays. It was just the ball popping out left and right. The picks were just kind of fluky picks. I don't know.
I think it was mostly the defense. I thought I thought it was a very good defensive performance. I'm happy to see that. Defense wins championships. I think we saw that last year with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think the main reason they won the Super Bowl was because their defense peaked at the right time and they got incredible play from their linebackers in the playoffs and the Super Bowl.
Playoffs?
What position are you most concerned about right now, Dave? Because you could, receiver.
I mean, kicker. We don't even have one on the roster.
Right, I'm kicker.
Quarterback.
Solve your problem with aggression.
Quarterback, receiver, kicker, defensive tackle, and corner. Those 5 position groups are all in play as viable answers.
Yeah.
Well, here's the reason why it's kicker for me is because kicker. We're if the Saints can just get to 3-3 when they play Tampa on Halloween, a bad kicker could turn a Saints team that should be 4-2 into 2-4, and that, for whatever reason, Andrew, would be much more frustrating to me than if they can't figure out defensive tackle or they can't figure out corner. To know that you just couldn't find a freaking kicker to kick a 40-yard field goal to win 2 games, that would just drive me nuts and ruin my liver in a way that I feel like all these other questions we have wouldn't. So for me right now, it's kicker. That's weird, but it is. So before we get to the clip of the week and before we get to fan questions, I told people at the top of the show, annual patrons, I was going to give 2 tickets to the Jacksonville preseason game because I have season tickets and I'm not going to the preseason game. So Tyler You can see him you can see Tim Tebow. You can see Celine Dion, the quarterback of the Jaguars. Tyler Coatney, you're an annual patron. You won the 2 tickets to the Jacksonville game. I messaged you. If you're listening on the live stream, DM me. You'll get them. You're gonna have to sign up for SeatGeek because that's how the Saints give you the tickets now. But hey,
he's got to be vaccinated, right?
That's right. He's got to be.
Does he live in New Orleans?
Or not? We are anti-vax now.
No. The Superdome is requiring proof of vaccine. You can't go to a Saints game without it.
Can I wait? I have one thing I want to say about this. Ralph and I talked about this in the pregame because they had just made the announcement about how everybody was going to have to be vaccinated. The Saints just tonight sent out an email about what the requirements are going to be to walk into the Superdome, and obviously you have to have either the negative test or a proof of vaccination. But for proof of vaccination, they're accepting a picture on your phone, a digital photo of your vaccination card.
Front and back, right?
Front and back, yeah. Or your actual vaccination card. But again, so here's my thing is that if I'm not vaccinated, I can and if I have a friend who's vaccinated, I can easily take a picture of their card and I could even take their card if I really wanted to. If they
or
really
you can
trusted me.
Photoshop it.
Yeah, and walk up and just show a picture on my phone. That person, who may or may not even really be looking carefully anyway, but that person has no idea that I am the same person whose name is on that vaccination card. And they're not saying they're going to be checking IDs. They're not going to be cross-referencing your ID with your vaccination card or your photo of your vaccination card. So this is ridiculous. If you're not vaccinated and you want to go to the Saints game, it is not going to be that difficult to skirt the system here.
It's kabuki theater. My biggest concern is I think I'm going to have to line up at right now. I think I'm going to have to get in line. I'm going to have to fly to New Orleans. I'm going to have to get in line right now to get into the game on time by kickoff against the Packers. That line to get in is going to be atrocious. Not that I'm against all the vax rules. It's going to be a pain in the ass. I'm going to line up at 1 o'clock to get into a 3:30 game. It's going to be horrible. But, I think we'll see. But I like Dave giving everybody 7 different ways to work around the vaccine.
Look, I'm not some criminal mastermind here, okay? Everybody and their mother.
Sure, Don
You've been hanging out with Junior Gillette, man.
Can think of. I've been hanging out with Malcolm Roach, apparently. Jesus Christ. I mean, there's probably a big overlap of people who aren't getting the vaccination and people who know how to skirt the rules a little bit. So I don't think that I'm. Opening Pandora's box.
They're going to be checking. They're going to be checking these vaccination cards with the strenuousness of the way they used to check driver's licenses at Bruno's in 1997. So
what a reference!
Yeah, I mean it's a little ridiculous.
It's going to be ridiculous. So, Thomas, before we get to the questions, play the clip of the week if we have one. Do we have a clip of the week from last week?
Of course we have. Clip of the week comes from the last main show, of course, from our UDFA draft. Dave made me angry, so Budrich clipped that fragment and called it worse than Ralph.
It's terrible. My God. All right, play the music. Commissioner. I'll tell you.
You still haven't sent me the pic.
I know. All right, great. With the.
You're worse than Ralph. You're worse than Ralph.
That is the worst insult you have ever given Dave. Ever. Worse than Ralph.
With the 5th pick in the.
That's it.
Beautiful.
I gotta say, Eric Burrell would have been a good pick that nobody made. He's been people have been chatting him up lately. So anyway, Thomas, hit the music. It's time to take it to the top and get get some questions in. I got to do the finger guns. You know what we didn't reference tonight? We didn't make any references to my fat heads because y'all know they're awesome. They're growing on you like now.
Well, you can take that Brett Maher fat head down.
Yeah.
You're not going to need that anymore.
And Stevie Scott.
Spot for the next kicker.
Oh, yeah, and take that Stevie Scott and burn it.
Send it back to Poland.
The Prince of Muka Mora.
That sounds like a tiki drink I
Ralph
make.
can't say anyone's name right.
All right, Thomas.
What next?
Okay, so first question, all questions from Discord. It comes from Saints Rabbit. If you had to pick a former Saints kicker to join the team at the current age and health, who would you choose?
Well, the youngest
Aaron
is
Hartley,
probably
if he could
No.
clear medical. But
so.
he can't.
The smart answer is who's the guy that went to the football team and was pretty good? Hopkins, Dustin Hopkins.
Yeah,
that's the correct answer. The joke answer, the answer we should be giving on this podcast is probably John Carney. I mean, he is looking very fit in most recent pictures I've seen of him.
I think the joke answer is the very gentleman who gave us the intro song to this segment, and that's Morton Anderson.
Solve your problems with aggression.
You're not feeling Chip Lowmiller, huh?
No.
I'm saying find Garrett Hartley, whatever duck
I don't want a
line
field goal kicker
get
whose
his
name
ass
is Chip.
down.
Chippendale.
Get Garrett Hartley away from the duck blind. Get him to sign a medical waiver, and have him kick. He could still do it. He wanted to kick in the XFL.
I
and
bet
his
you Garrett
workout was
Hartley's not vaxxed.
Unvaxxed kicker.
Oh. Well, you could quarantine the kicker off in the side. They don't need to be vaxxed. You could
That
just
was the-
put
Doug,
them on a
Doug
whole
Bryant. Yeah,
separate
that's a good
field.
call, Jason. I like Doug
Doug
Bryant.
Bryant. Kai Forbath.
I think
Tyler-
Kai Forbath is on a team already.
What's Olindo Mare up to?
I don't know. What's
Gramatica.
Martin Gramatica doing?
Oof.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I mean, Automatica.
Who's the kicker that was left in London? What was his name?
Oh,
Melhoff. Tyler.
Yeah,
Melhoff.
Taylor
Melhoff.
Melhaff.
He's another one of those people. I made a joke and he attacked me on Twitter.
we drafted
Right.
him. What was his RAS score? Can you look up his RAS score?
Oh boy. I don't think they do a RAS for kickers, but maybe.
Kickers though. All right,
Maybe they
Thomas.
do.
What next?
Okay, next one. This is a pretty good one. Comes from Johnny V. Would you do the Jimmy Graham trade for Michael Thomas today? Replace Unger with a corner.
So a first round pick and a starting corner for Thomas, essentially. I think that's what he means by the Jimmy Graham trade. So you get a first round pick and you get a solid position player.
Corner, yeah.
That's a good
Man, our defense. I mean, after last game, if we had added like a primo,
like a Unger level corner.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
our defense would be pretty freaking
Xavier Howard.
badass. It might not even matter whether we had Michael
Yeah,
Thomas or not at that
I
point.
think I would.
Unger was awesome.
I think
Yeah.
I would. The thing is, though, man, it would detonate their cap. Like they would have to, just to push the trade through. They would have to reshuffle and do serious Loomis math, because the hit, if they trade Thomas before next June, the hit's like $22.5 million. But I think I would do it. Because
I think we got to cool it on the Michael Thomas trade talk. Like things are looking up. They're a little better right now, and the Saints are still counting on him this year. You know, so they're going to need him whenever he can get back. And I don't know how things are going to go for Taysom or Jameis, whoever the starter is, but they're going to need him, and he's going to have to help big time.
Yeah.
So
that's a great question though by Johnny, because it was
yes.
What next?
Okay, next question comes from LD. LD asks, how many touchdowns will our receiver corps have this season? Who will lead all wide receivers with touchdowns?
How many did we have last year? I never really know how many total receiving touchdowns.
Let's see if I can. Let me see it. Receiving touchdowns by wide receivers, right? Because he's asking, will our receiver court? Yeah.
Wide receivers only.
All right, let me look it up.
I mean, it probably wasn't that many last.
I'm assuming it's like 35.
Well, based on how the opening drive went, Callaway's catching all of them.
I mean,
But as far as wide receivers touchdown leader, I'm gonna say Traquan.
Not Little Jordan?
Yeah.
Nah, sorry.
Your own flesh and blood, Dave?
I know.
He prefers Malcolm Roach.
I don't know now.
Not now.
I mean, I'm gonna check Keith Waters.
You gotta have a pep talk with him.
Sanders had 5, so that's 6. Traquan had 4, that's 10. Let's see. Austin Carr had 1, that's 11, and Lil Jordan had 1, so 12.
12.
That's
I was way off.
Only 12 touchdown receptions by receivers last year.
Okay, I'm gonna say 25 this year.
That's pathetic.
Yeah, I'm gonna say 25 this year.
That is sadness.
Yeah, I mean Jared Cook had 7, Kamara had 5. So Jared Cook and Alvin Kamara alone had more touchdown receptions for the Saints last year than their entire receiver corps. That's a crazy stat. I'm glad he asked that question because now we realize this for the first time.
I mean,
it's nuts.
When Mina Kimes said that we're the worst receiving corps in the NFL, she wasn't kidding.
No, apparently not.
That is wild.
What next?
Okay, next from your boy, Andrew.
Budrich.
Bodrich asks, watching Zauch Baun defend against the bootleg, is he the best linebacker prospect we drafted in the 21st century?
Well, geez, the competition is really stiff here.
Yeah.
In this category, he's up against some great linebackers. Jeez.
His stiffest competition, if you took the word drafted out, would have been Jolon Dunbar.
Yeah.
I know.
You're talking like Cedric Hodge, C. Grant, Anzalone. I mean, it is a bad group. And the thing is, like, besides Anzalone, none of them, especially none of them showed a goddamn thing. Like, remember C. Grant? Like, they drafted him, and they're like, yeah, his knee is like Swiss cheese, and he never amounted to anything. So, like, Baun has shown just alone in a preseason game one good play against the bootleg. Like, he's probably shown more than any Hazlitt linebacker ever.
Agreed.
Drafted.
He was good. Real good.
Which is just scary. So
what next?
Okay, last question from Biloxi Blues. In the past, the third preseason game has been the one where the starters played and then set out the fourth game. With only 3 preseason games now, will the starters play next week and sit out the third game?
No.
Yeah, we talked about this. Yeah, I think they're going to stick to the same schedule. So I think the third game is going to be most of the starters still.
And remember, after the third game, they still have 2 weeks to get ready. So
wow,
how does that work? Is there a bye week before the season starts?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think everybody plays on a Thursday, and they get a bye week.
Well,
but
they don't get a bye. You mean they just play like Sunday a week later?
Yeah.
Right. So like the team that plays on Thursday night to open the season, that's the Bucks, the Cowboys, right? Is it Bucks Cowboys?
Yeah.
So they only get a week, right?
Well, a little more than a week, right? I guess they get like a week.
because it's usually Thursday.
Yeah.
They go Thursday to Thursday, right? It's a week.
Let me see the Saints schedule. They play August. No, because they play August 28th, and then the Bucks would play. The Saints would play on the 12th, the 11th, 10th. Then the Bucks would play on the 9th, so they would get like 10 days. The Bucks.
How does that work?
So I don't know. The Saints.
I'm confused.
The Saints. The final preseason game is Saturday, August 28th, and every team plays on that Saturday.
It's on I see. Okay, so they do get a bye week. So that following weekend after the 28th, that Saturday, Sunday, there are no NFL games.
That's correct.
Oh, that's crazy. Okay, I didn't realize that. So there's a bye week going into the season.
Yeah, so
it's not a bye week. It's just I guess it is. It's just like a delayed start, really.
But it makes teams feel confident at least. Hey, we can play guys the third week, and if they get a little nick,
there's recovery, plenty of recovery time. Yeah,
you know,
interesting.
But anyway, the bottom line of the question is no. They're treating the third preseason game like they've always treated it.
Interestingly, Tampa has come out and said they're not playing any of their starters in the second game. I don't know if you saw that. Yeah,
they played Brady, and Brady got crushed on a sack.
Good.
The first game.
Beautiful.
So, dude, that dude from Washington, Chase Young, he nearly killed Cam Newton in a preseason game the other week.
Yeah, you're talking about the play where Newton fumbled?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was great.
And Mac Jones looked pretty good. My ranting on draft night, happy that the Saints didn't pick him, that maybe come back to bite me. People may dig those up.
Hey, Tomas, check the timestamp on this.
So,
by the way, Jason has informed us that Taylor Melhalf's RAS score is NA. Dave.
That's
they don't RAS score a kicker.
No.
That's somebody could come up with it. They could come up with RAS scores for punters and kickers. What in the hell is that?
I saw that earlier.
By Budrich.
Did he sign it, Budrich?
Yeah.
Like Bob Ross at the bottom of his painting. He signs it.
He
But anyway,
signs
guys,
memes.
Saturansky.
I've never seen somebody autograph their meme before.
Yeah, and by the way, to Clark, who yelled at me, he's like, "How dare you put a podcast on the free podcast stream from 3 weeks ago?" Hey, Bob, I put the podcast. The patrons got They Should Trade for Brandon Cooks. They got that podcast 3 weeks ago. If you don't pay for it, you're lucky you get it at all. But that's why you should be a patron. That's why you should become a patron, so you get the podcast every single day. You get your own RSS feed, and you get you can be an annual patron. You get a great mug like this and the booze bundle and all kinds of fun stuff. You can talk. You get access to the Discord. We're the best thing going. Look at that. The layers of the human skin. CD Deuce is under everyone's skin. It's great.
Is that a Budrich original too? I'm looking for the signature watermark.
No,
I don't see it on that one.
Not this time.
The final thing I want to talk about before we get out of here. I watched some of the games Sunday because the NFL Network had like a quadruple header, I think, both days. Andrew, that taunting penalty is freaking ridiculous. It's
so
like,
bad.
Dude, I wasn't even thinking the dudes were taunting. Like they had one dude, he had a nice run and he just flexed and they flagged him. Like CD Deuce, he's going to get injured because so many flags are going to hit him.
CD Deuce just became a liability.
Yeah, you're right, Matt. I do wish Kevin was on to hear him rant about this. It was so weird. And it's like we talk about the NFL being the no fun league. I think Cam Jordan had that tweet go out. It's just so freaking lame. And my hope is that in preseason, they're getting like the egregious flags out of the way to just kind of like caution the waters, but they're not actually going to do it in the regular season kind of thing. But I'm telling you right now, if they start throwing flags for that kind of stuff, I just think it makes the game less fun.
Remember, Andrew, it's the preseason for the officials too.
I just, dude, I hate it. I hate it so much.
It.
It's like the refs are like it's like when you go to jail, you know, you got to like just beat up the biggest guy you can find to assert your dominance and make sure that nobody else is going to. So that's what they're doing. They're just throwing a flag. They're throwing a flag, you know, for the smallest thing. They're asserting their dominance and they're saying, try us in the regular season and see what we do. You think we're tough now? We're going to be tougher later.
Solve your problems with aggression.
We're going to solve our refereeing problems with aggression.
Dave,
don't even give the other team a side eye. If you even look at the other team the wrong way, we're flagging you.
You know this is the Chauncey Gardner-Johnson rule, by the way.
It will be. It will be
because a bunch of players and coaches have been crying to the refs, crying to the league about Chauncey Gardner-Johnson's been talking mean to us on the field. Can you make it illegal for Chauncey Gardner-Johnson to be so mean to us?
If you thought Brandon Browner could rack up penalties, wait until you see Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. Okay.
I just fear
trash talking is part of the game.
Ralph, I can't believe. Well, first of all, guys, I can't even believe that a new NFL officiating rule that is subjective. I can't believe that we're talking about about how ridiculous it is. I can't believe that a rule that isn't based on facts and actual.
Yeah, it's against all odds, really.
Yeah,
completely out of character.
Who the fuck?
I really thought this was going to go smoothly. I really thought this was going to go. I cannot believe that we're arguing about. Cannot believe it.
Well, here's my nightmare scenario for the flag, is the Saints are beating Green Bay like 24-22 or some bullshit.
Oh my God.
Marcus Davenport sacks Aaron Rodgers, and the game is over. But he gets a taunting penalty because he does like a dance or some shit,
right.
And
untimed play,
kick a field goal. Yeah,
that is fucking stupid. Wake up!
I am mentally preparing myself right now. Like that is 100% happening.
I am telling you right now, there is going to be a game where we are going to want to fire Chauncey Gardner-Johnson into the freaking sun because he's going to lose us a game because of this penalty. Okay? I am calling it right now. Check the timestamp on this.
Hey, Tomas, check the timestamp on this.
Chauncey Gardner-Johnson is going to lose us a game because of this stupid rule.
And it'll be Tom Brady.
I hate to hear that.
It will be Tom Brady.
Hear that?
It'll be Tom Brady. I mean, put it in ink. Bet the house.
Get that shit notarized.
Yeah.
It was so positive. We said ignore the 6 turnovers, and then at the very end, an hour and 20 minutes in, it got dark. But Thomas, play the outro music. Thanks everybody for joining us on Twitch. If you're still watching us, pound the donate button so we can pay Thomas in Vladi Divac or whatever Polish money we give him. So for Andrew, for Dave, for executive producer extraordinaire Thomas running the show in Poland, it was amazing. He had clips, videos, Benny Hill music, fart sounds. It was just chef's kiss, Thomas.
Forgot about the
for everybody in Twitch that joined us, thanks for joining us. If you're listening on the RSS feed or wherever, subscribe to our Twitch channel, follow us on Twitch, follow us on YouTube. We're doing all kinds of fun stuff there, and become a patron. Until next week, the bar is closed, and remember, kids, don't shoot your dick off.
Who dat?